listening to South Florida's #1 gospel station. It's New Season Gospel Event.
This is Nina. Join me every Monday at 7 p.m. for Faith Matters. Faith Matters is where we reflect and share on our daily Christian walk. I look forward to sharing with you on Mondays at 7 p.m. God bless.
Thank you for adopting eras.
Dawn of a new age.
Future without limits.
Now celebrates a future
Where everything is possible.
without limits, full of love and wonder. So explore reality. Revoke your limits. Explore potential. The future is here.
New Season Worship Center, located at 4660 North University Drive. Welcome to a brighter future. It is time for Yes with Yesse. Please welcome your host, Yesenia Leva.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes. Happy Thursday. When Jesus says yes, then nobody can say no, right? It's yes and amen. Good evening, New Season. Good evening, New Season family. How are we doing? I see you all there. Thank you for joining. It's so amazing to see you guys there and interact with you guys a little bit before the show. I love that. So thank you for being there. Do me a favor, like and share and invite more people, and let's just have an awesome time and fellowship right here, right now. And good evening to you guys, Sister Laurel, Anna J, Brother Dwayne. Good evening. How are you? Share, guys. Share the broadcast, and let's invite more of our family and friends and community to join along tonight. Good evening, and again, thank you for joining Yes with Yesse, and we appreciate you guys so much. Everybody there on 89.1 newseasongospelfm.com, and of course the family there on Facebook who are always there with us every single day. And I invite you guys to visit newseasonfm.com. Anybody that maybe you're new or you haven't been on too long, go to newseasonfm.com and just learn about the ministry, because I really believe, I know it's a ministry. So visit newseasonfm.com, visit New Season WC, which is the New Season Worship Center, our church and church family as well, and support the ministry, guys, because there's no us without you guys. And different ways that you guys can support, it's all listed right there on your screen, just for your view, right below the Yes with Yesse. So you have Zelle at 954-536-1821. You will have Cash App at $ New Season WC. And you can always do it online, which is always easier, at newseasonfm.com. And if you want to collaborate, you want to have your own program, you have ideas, you want to know how you can partner with our ministry, you can send us an email, which is also listed there on your screen, seasonfmradio@gmail.com. seasonfmradio@gmail.com. Good evening, Sister Jules. Hey, yes, thank you, Brother Dwayne, and good evening. Thank you guys for being there. And as we know, it is a special month of February. We went over, or we lived through Miss Mina's birthday. Happy birthday, Mina, again. And I know she had an amazing birthday. And of course, Pastor C's birthday is coming up tomorrow. So happy early birthday on behalf of all of us here at the ministry. We can't wait to continue to celebrate life with much health and love and just, all that God has to offer for life. And so we really appreciate Pastor Steve and all he does for us, for all of us and the ministry. So happy birthday to you, Pastor Steve. And it's Valentine's Day on February 14th on Sunday. It is Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day is unique because some people look forward to it, especially, if they're married or couples, they look forward to it. And then other people not so much for various reasons. Now, it's all about perspective and how you view Valentine's Day, right? And so doesn't necessarily have to be about relationships and or at least romantic relationships. It's about, you know, just community, friends, and the love for one another as people, you know, as us as the human race, like I always like to say, outside of all the division and everything that we live every day, right? However, good evening, Sister Jane. However, there's always a stereotype and things that we live through, right? And even through Valentine's Day. And I want to gear this evening's show to that, to Valentine's Day and people with disabilities. It's very unique, and I'm not one to separate, you know, or specify people with disabilities versus the rest of the community. However, in this case, it just based on the topic, I'll do that. And so many people with disabilities cringe at the sound of Valentine's Day. I know I used to. It's assumed that people with disabilities don't have feelings, right? It's assumed that we don't have feelings, that we don't have romantic relationships, when in reality, the need for a romantic connection is relevant for all people, regardless of your background, regardless of disability. It's a universal thing, right, for humans. And so thank you for letting me know that you guys are hearing me. That's awesome. So yeah, it's a universal thing. It's a universal feeling, and it's something that everybody needs, right? Whether again it's a friendship, whether it's a romantic relationship, it doesn't necessarily have to be one thing or the other, and it is a universal need. Like I always say, people need people, right? So in this case, though, there's a large stereotype around people with disabilities, and like, oh, well, they don't have feelings, or they don't have the same feelings everybody else does, or, you know, they don't know better. They don't want to get married. They don't want to have a boyfriend. They don't want to have a girlfriend. To go further, they don't want to have kids, or they can't have kids, or why would they? Like, why would they even go through that trouble or that struggle based on their own struggles and situations that they have to live with every single day? So is it fair for people with disabilities to hear that? No, I'm talking about people that are cognitively able to hear and understand what I'm saying. You know, it's not fair to automatically assume that because you're different or you have a disability, you're not deserving, or you simply don't understand the concept of Valentine's Day or being in a relationship or getting married or having children. For me personally, you know, I always say I have a bunch of adoptive kids because I work with kids, and I truly do adopt them and treat them as my own and provide the best service and care that I can for them to the best of my ability. And so that's fulfilling to me. I don't feel a void of as a woman, I don't feel a void of having children, and it's perhaps because I have purpose. I have found purpose in life, and I don't define myself as someone that needs to have children or needs to get married, you know, in order to be feel fulfilled. Some people do. And so if they do, that's great, and we shouldn't take that away from them, regardless of disability or not, because at the end of the day, everybody has a right to feel that and to have that feeling of belonging and want, right? So the question becomes to me, how can we help, or what are some positive practices that we can use to educate our individuals with disabilities, again, regardless of the cognitive ability, as long as they have some sort of ability to understand. And trust me when I say, someone perhaps can't go to school, perhaps they can't do math and 2 + 2, but they sure are aware of themselves and their feelings. And I have experienced that to the T. And it can be it's a positive thing, but it can be a dangerous thing, if that makes sense. And we'll learn more of why that is. So, my thing is to never undermine anybody's feelings, regardless of how we perceive them as a society. Never undermine someone's feelings, regardless of how we perceive them, because we just don't know, and you really, really don't know the level of understanding and cognitiveness, if that's a word, of individuals with disabilities, because they do understand more than we think. And so, what are some best practices that we can use as it pertains to people with disabilities and this particular subject, which can be a touchy subject, especially for mom and dad, to help them learn more, right? And so information and services is very important. And you guys know I'm all about information. I'm all about services. So information and services that are tailored to individuals and their individual needs. For example, early onset of puberty for young adults, for example, is a characteristic of several developmental disabilities, and which can reflect on several developmental disabilities. So everybody is different. Disabilities are different, and they can go through puberty, if you will, differently at different stages and different ages. That can result in different attitudes, characteristics, and that can reflect on several developmental disabilities, which can reflect on their self-conscious and insecurities. So, meaning the way we experience puberty, the responses that we see from our parents, our mom, dad, caregivers, etc., has a great effect on our self-esteem. So what do you do as a parent or as a caregiver when your son or daughter is growing up and going through that? Do you ignore it and you just play it off? Or do you take the time to educate them just like you would educate your able-bodied son and daughter, right? To do the safe practices and know their body and know themselves and know what it means, which is more importantly, and how to, protect themselves and so on and so forth. And if they do have differences in that matter, explaining those differences, why they are considered differences, and what they can do to feel secure and have a sense of self-esteem, regardless or despite those differences, right? So information and services. In addition to that, professionals such as healthcare providers and school counselors, they need training. They need training so that they can work with young girls and women to increase their self-esteem. And so why their self-esteem, though, is because doing research and reading and learning and even working with my own young adults and students, due to societal standards or beauty that so often excludes people with disabilities. Because you would think, right, well, why the self-esteem? What does that have to do with anything? Because we live in a society where it's constantly bringing us, not that it's bringing us down, but it's a competition. You feel like you have to live up to that. Well, if you're 30 years old and you're, by 30, you have to be married with children. You have to be a high school graduate. There's a lot of competition. Or you have an older sibling and you want to meet up to those expectations as your older sibling. I know I experienced that because my brother has a master's degree in business. He's into all these things. And I really thought I had to live up to that. And one day I had a moment. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm my own person. This is what I do. This is what I'm good at. Yes, I have a disability. It's okay. And I help people with disabilities because I've been there. I make a difference. What I do matters. I literally had to talk myself into believing that I was, worthy, and that what I do is worthy of praise or of getting paid for, of being being me, that I was worthy of being me, as crazy as that sounds. So that's a lot of things that we go through as individuals as a whole, but more so as people with disabilities. So again, information and services and professionals such as the healthcare providers, counselors, there has to be some unity and diversity and inclusivity in services. As people with disabilities, it is very hard, even counseling, unless it's like specific counseling, mental health counseling. There's a negative stigma behind the counseling where people with disabilities or anybody could really use it, And so in lieu of that, I always tell them, go to church and be social, because that helps too. Because I like I always say, you can't do life alone because it just doesn't work. So in this time of Valentine's Day, those are the different things that we live with. I remember thinking, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm not in a relationship, or no one's ever going to talk to me. I had all these negative thoughts. And it wasn't because it was true. It wasn't because anybody told me such a thing. It was because I created those thoughts in my head because it was easier to think those things than to actually do the work and to being, friendly and getting out there and having friends and all these different things. It was easier to just shut down in my own little world and think those negative things. And so I literally had to pull myself out of that and know that it was okay to be myself. It was okay to be different. And it was okay to open up to other people that look nothing like me and make friends. And the moment that I started to do that and realize that is people don't really see you for your disability. People don't go up to me and say, hey, your disability, or why do you walk like that? Or, any of those things. At one point, yes. And maybe it's because I was more conscious about it. But now at my 35 years old, years of age rather, no, people don't really see that. If you allow them to, and if you allow yourself the opportunity as a person with any kind of difference, not just disability, people will notice you and want to get to know you for who you are. Such as long as you give yourself that opportunity. It's just like kids. Like the other day, and Mina will probably giggle at this. The other day, I came in to the office and there was a little boy. And as I'm walking to the office, he's like, look, it's grandma. He said, look, it's grandma because he saw me walking with a cane. I'm like, what you mean, grandma? And then he said, auntie. So he went from calling me grandma to calling me auntie. Yet he never noticed or related my cane to a disability. He never said, why do you walk like that? He said, I look like grandma because I walk with a cane. So that innocence, it was the cutest thing ever. And that's how we should see people, just see people for people. We should see through the children's eyes and their innocence. And that's the same way that we should treat ourselves. Like we need to find ways to be gentle to ourselves, and not be so hard on ourselves when nobody else is. And so what do you do? What do you do as people to help yourself in these situations, to be noticed, to be out there, to be friendly, and to not be so self-judgmental, or to not be so judgmental to yourself? And that is very important, because the way you perceive yourself, the way you see yourself, the way you feel, the energy that you give out is exactly the same thing that you're going to receive. What you give out is exactly what you're going to receive. And that is a fact because I've been there. I promise you, the moment I changed my mindset through a lot of work was the moment that my life changed, was the moment that I obtained new friendships and got to know new people, new opportunities. both personally and professionally, because it's all about the way you perceive yourself. It's all about attitude. It's all about mindset. And so here are a couple things that we can do as people, but more so as people with differences, to help ourselves in these different situations where our mindset tends to want to take over. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone accomplishes things on their own time, and it's okay. You can achieve whatever you set your mind to in your own time. Like I told you, I would compare myself to my brother. I stopped doing that because we're not the same. Number 2, celebrate your strengths. Celebrate your strengths. Celebrate what you're good at, and don't focus on what it is that is your considered your difference or your weakness. Disability advocate Helen Keller said it best. And she said, "No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. No matter what, you can contribute great things to society, and you have to just find out what it is that you can do, regardless." And this is all universal to people with and without disabilities. What are you good at? What can you contribute? Maybe you guys remember, I always say who are you? What do you have to offer? And why should people care? Get to know yourself. Get to know who you are, so people then get to know you and who you are and what you have to offer. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Make it okay to ask for help and know it's not a weakness. And that's something that we all, every single one of us, have a hard time with, asking for help. And the moment you realize that it's not a weakness, that it's okay to ask for help, things change. Things change. And then those people that you ask for help to becomes your support system. Because you don't know everything. You can't do everything by yourself. You don't know everything. And people need people. And keep in mind that disability is natural. It's natural. It's a part of human diversity. It's a part of society. I mean, Harriet Tubman, Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, they were all successful people with disability. And it's a part of human diversity. And we all, with and without disabilities, should treat each other as such, and then days like these won't be so hard on so many people with differences. So keep in mind, I like that saying that disability is natural, because it is. And finally, remember that there's more to you, to me, to everybody than your disability. You're a person first. You're a person first. Disability second. Maybe. Disability way down the line, because it's the person first, you, then you got your dreams, you got your hopes, you have your aspirations, you have your likes, and you have your dislikes. And then, oh, by the way, if you care, this is my disability. Right? So that's very important to realize, that it's very important the way that you perceive yourself, your talents, your skills, your abilities, who you are, what you have to offer, changing your mindset, being conscious of who's around you, everything, being conscious of what are those people pouring into you. All of that makes an impact. All of that makes an impact. So information and services, let's educate all people on the very things that are natural human experiences, such as relationships and lifelong family goals, and Valentine's Day. Know that Valentine's Day is for everyone, and enjoy it, have fun, treat yourself. You don't always have to wait for somebody else to treat you either. You can treat yourself. It's very healthy and important. Chocolate Ferreros, very good for you. Not really. So I hope that you guys, got something out of it. Please like and share and invite so that we can continue to grow the ministry. And thank you all again for being there. this evening with Yes with Yesse. Greatly, greatly appreciate you guys. And we will see you tomorrow morning on the Pastor Steve Show at 8 a.m. Once again, 8 a.m. tomorrow. And then, of course, on Monday, you have Faith Matters with Miss Mina and Speak the Word on Tuesday with Reverend Crescent, which I love. It's a very awesome show that just got started. And so don't miss it, guys. Follow newseasonfm.com and support your station. Support your station. All the information is there on your screen, and you know how to reach us. So until next time, have an amazing weekend. We look forward to seeing you guys on Sunday. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you, Facebook family, for joining, and everybody on 89.1 YouTube. A good friend of mine, Mr. Galen, I know you're on YouTube. Shout out to all our YouTubers, and please like and share and subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can get to 100. If we get to 100 subscribers, we can do so much more and reach so many more people, and that's what's important. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that is New Season Gospel FM, all together, no spaces. So do that for me. Greatly appreciate it. Hi, Sister Laurel. Good evening. And so until next time, guys, we will see you soon. Follow Yes with Yesse on Facebook. God bless, and see you on Sunday. Yay, because it's always fun. Always fun. So until then, guys, we'll see you soon. Have a good evening.